Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and we're back for another episode of Portal 2 Developer Commentary Series. We got a couple chapters done in the first episode. Probably gonna try to get a couple more done.
Wheatley was originally envisioned as a group of spheres that you discover as you explore the facility behind the scenes. We ditched this idea for two reasons. For one thing, behind-the-scenes levels were required to highlight the introductions of these new spheres, and these levels have their own unique logic. The number of spheres we wanted would have made for far too many of these types of levels, resulting in a very un-Portal-like game. Also, we were spending so much time introducing these new characters that we had no time to get to know any of them before they were swept off stage for the next one. Eventually we realized it would be a lot more satisfying to really get to know one sphere instead of briefly meeting 6. Some of these characters were eventually recycled as corrupt cores for the finale.
Bird, right? Couldn't believe it either.
You seem to have defeated its load-bearing capacity. Well done. I'll just lower the ceiling.
So notice a little oddness going on there. Whenever you go from a ceiling transfer, it doesn't really handle itself that as well as you would think it should. The physics engine they're using, it's not as smooth on that type of transfer as it is on others. I'm not sure I ever got a straight, figured it out. Let me be realistic, I didn't research it. I don't think I really researched whether or not Portal 2 was still on Half-Life 2 source, or whether they decided to make some kind of predecessor source, like a pre-Half-Life 3, if Half-Life 3 was ever going to be made, source. I assume they're still working on their source.
Look at you,
engine.
sailing through the air majestically, like an eagle, piloting a blimp.
I would say that the engine that's running this game is 99% smooth. So they just need to maintain that smoothness as they add and use so many of these elements and technologies that
Enjoy
just
this
briefly
next
get
test.
introduced.
I'm going to go to the surface. It's a beautiful day out.
If they can
Yesterday
get it
I
up
saw
to
a deer.
100% smoothness,
If you solve this next
this
test,
spot would be
maybe
good.
I'll let you ride an elevator all the way up to the break room. And I'll tell you about the time I saw a deer again.
The Faith Play was originally a robot arm model which we hurriedly placed into the maps to see if the gameplay was fun. Over time it became apparent that playtesters were struggling to tell the Faith Plate apart from the standard arm, so we replaced it with a new design. It was meant to be a simple, heavy weight which was flung upwards, propelling the player. The length is meant to imply a direction, so the player knows the intended flight path before they step onto it. We experimented with footmarks and tread plates on the design, but it quickly became confusingly busy, so we kept the design simple.
Here's a little, like, some intern's project was to make this. Probably spent 6 months doing this little animation for no real reason. I mean, not to say it sucks. It's a cool animation and all, it's just, it was used once in the game and probably unnoticed by most. Now, at a certain point in the game, we step on a faceplate and it flings us sideways, and really does not explain how in the world it does that. So it's facing that way, and then it just flings us that way. Where'd the cube fall? Here it is. Just follow the path. How about not put it right there? I think this is a very imaginative puzzle. I mean, so it seems like there was definitely 3, 4 to 5 different teams working on puzzles, and you see it, you feel that, oh, this is the faceplate team, this is the funnel team, this is the team that was all into cubes, this was the team that didn't care about cubes. It seems like there's all kinds of variety here. Does that make a good game? I guess it does, because we got variety. So here we're hearing the musical sound effects again.
Well, you passed the test. I didn't see the deer today. I did see some humans. But with you here, I've got more test subjects than I'll ever need.
My theory on the outside world is that there aren't any humans. Because the very beginning of the game tells you you've been in cryostasis for a very, very long time. And so my suspicion is they all died off and the surface world is empty of humans and possibly any other creatures like zombies.
These bridges are made from natural light that I pump in from the surface. If you rubbed your cheek on one, it would be like standing outside with the sun shining on your face. It would also set your hair on fire, so don't actually do it.
I think if you wanted to end Portal, my fictional Portal 3, which I keep talking about, and which again I always have to line up with the thought that I have no knowledge whatsoever that says they will ever come out, and all indications are actually the opposite of that, that it won't come out. If you put in a time travel element, if you at the end allowed yourself to go, it allowed Chell to go back in time to the, like, Gordon Freeman with beginning of Half-Life 1 type time and send out a distress call, then might have, I think you got something there. I think you would have the ability where Gordon Freeman would be able to rescue you, and through rescuing you, get the portal gun, potentially change the future, which seems to be a future in which all humans are dead, and stop the zombie apocalypse, alien invasion, whatever's going on. I really suffer from the fact that I do not know what the story is to Half-Life in the Half-Life universe, but it doesn't really matter. Time travel element might have it so that you could save it. It could stop. Half-Life 3 could become a entire thing that was cross-connected. Because as you can tell from my perspective, Portal is the better story and the better. It looked like the more interesting game to me. I think Portal 2 came out after the latest Half-Life game came out.
Excellent. You're a predator, and these tests are your prey. Speaking of which, I was researching sharks for an upcoming test. Do you know who else murders people who are only trying to help them? Did you guess sharks? Because that's wrong. The correct answer is nobody. Nobody but you is that pointlessly cruel.
Doing these levels fast, you see little indications, little Easter eggs. I didn't realize you saw this many.
Good news. I figured out what to do with all the money I saved recycling your one room full of air. When you die, I'm going to laminate your skeleton and pose you in the lobby. That way future generations can learn from you how not to have your unfortunate bone structure. Perfect. The door's malfunctioning. I guess somebody's going to have to repair that too. No, don't get up. I'll be right back. Don't touch anything.
Hey, wait! Up here! I found some bird eggs up here. Just dropped them into the door mechanism. Shut it right down. Bird! 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 Bird!
So, okay. I was looking up
That's
here
probably the bird in it that laid the eggs. Livid. Okay, look, the point is, we're going to break out of here, alright? Very soon, I promise, I promise. I just have to figure out how to break us out of here. Here she comes. Just keep testing. Remember, you never saw me. Never saw me.
I went and spoke with the door mainframe. Let's just say he won't be, well, living anymore. Anyway, back to testing.
So yeah, not knowing the Half-Life 2 story at all, having a Portal Half-Life 3 be where he receives Chell's message that would be sent out from the past at the end of Portal 3. They could sneakily hide the fact. Of course, anybody who's listened to my crazy rantings now would know what's going on, but that the message would be from Chell. All of Half-Life 3 could be about trying to rescue Chell from even going through Portal 1 as an event, and at that point they could basically reset the universe at the end of Half-Life 3, solve all the problems,
well
or
done.
delay it.
In fact, you did so well, I'm going to note this on your file, in the commendation section. Oh, there's lots of room here. Did well. Enough.
So, it would allow... I'd say they should delay the alien invasion, because if you did come out with a Half-Life 3 and it was a huge seller, which probably would be because
this next test involves turrets. You remember them, right? They're the pale spherical things that are full of bullets. Oh wait, that's you in 5 seconds. Good luck.
People who loved Half-Life still to this day. Wow, really boned that up. Really loved the Half-Life series. Would definitely buy Half-Life 3. But it's been so
this
long.
This next test involves turrets.
Get it out. I think you probably should just end this series.
They're the pale spherical things that are full of bullets.
And say no more.
That's you in 5 seconds. Good luck.
We'll start the new series and not call it Half-Life. Make it be a little bit different, so it doesn't have to stick to the Half-Life way of gameplay, which is getting older by the second.
Project Lil is our code name for an internal push to make our comments more accessible to the whole Valve community. It was pointed out to us in mail from a fan that in some of our previous commentary, the designers referred unfailingly to the gamer as a he. Although in natural speech, most of us normally tend to say they and their, rather than he and his, some stuffy, overactive minion of the grammar police went through and revised all those usages to make them conform to an oppressive gender-biased rule. However, research shows that they and their is a perfectly acceptable and even older form, and we're happy to fall back on it and let people talk the way they normally talk. And screw the so-called rules that alienate our fans. Thanks, Lil.
Okay. Gender, I'm certainly guilty. Everybody is probably guilty of saying he when, because in English there really isn't a good gender neutral singular. When you say they and their, you're saying multiple people in most people's minds. But they, to me at least, sounds like a group. They went to the park. That's not one person, that's multiple people. What I've thought about doing, and this would just make me look really crazy, is starting to refer to everybody as XE. Because to match a proposed, instead of Mr. or Mrs., Miss, all of that, it's just MX for a gender neutral or gender not mentioned way of addressing the person. And so if that did catch on, which probably won't, people seem to are just societally trained to immediately identify and label people by their gender. It's a real problem that starts like in preschool. It's just right up at preschool. You're taught there are boys and girls, and that is a important. Oh shoot. That is an important thing that you have to figure out immediately. And oh, by the way, those are the only two options, which society is now more and more disagreeing with that thought. So I've thought about just starting to personally refer to people as Z. So XE, just Z did this, Z did that. It sounds like a middle point between he and she already. But I can't really, one person cannot change the dialect and the way people speak. It's really going to be a societal effort to get away from all that, and I see it coming, and it'll probably just take a long time. It's so ingrained into the English societies, and it's even more ingrained into other languages. lots and lots of other languages.
To maintain
French,
a constant testing
Japanese,
cycle, I simulate daylight at all hours and add adrenal vapor to your
French and
oxygen
Japanese
supply.
I know for sure.
So you may be confused about the passage of time. The point is, yesterday was your birthday. I thought you'd want to know.
So when I get on the platform, I can start shooting portals, but not until. French and Japanese in particular, that I am certain of, have both a male and female ways of saying lots and lots of words. And so you're talking a major portion of their language is going to have to become unpopular to be used and spoken so that they can get away from gender things. The Spanish too, I believe, yeah, if I'm recalling correctly, has
You know how I'm going to live forever, but you're going to be dead in 60 years.
verbs and such.
Well, I've been working on a belated birthday present for you. Well, more of a belated birthday medical procedure. Well, technically, it's a medical experiment. What's important is it's a present.
It's very possible that all of the world or everybody's language will change to a new language.
That jumpsuit you're wearing looks
before
stupid.
they get away
That's
from
not me talking.
the
It's right
old
here in your file. On other
genders
people it looks fine.
specific
But right here a
phrasing.
scientist has noted that on you it looks stupid. Well, what does a neck-bearded old engineer know about fashion? He probably... Oh, wait, it's a she. Still, what does she know? Oh wait, it says she has a medical degree. In fashion. From France.
This one's a pretty unique puzzle.
Target lost.
At least we get the turrets used a little bit more in this game. They didn't have a lot of... They didn't get used a lot in the first game. They were gonna be the boss in the first game for a short time.
Sleep mode activated. Is anyone there? Activated.
There you are.
Target malfunction. Are you still there? Probably. Shutting down.
Alright, so... Let's see. This is another one we can get trapped in. Let's see. I can put one right here. And I can put one right here. I can take this off. And then I can put that right there. And then I can do this.
Oops. You trapped yourself. I guess that's it then. Thanks for testing. You may as well lie down and get acclimated to the being dead position. I'm kidding. Not about you trapping yourself, though. That really happened. Here, I'll lower the glass. Go on. Finish the test.
So, another puzzle that you can't trap yourself in for
I'm
a
going
little
through the
Easter
list
egg.
of test subjects in cryogenic storage. I managed to find 2 with your last name. A man and a woman. So that's interesting. It's a small world.
First indication of the father. There is something we will get further to this game,
I have a surprise waiting for you after this next test.
turns out that
Telling you would spoil the
Shell
surprise. So I'll just give you a hint.
hinted at being
It involves
the
meeting two
daughter
people you
of
haven't
somebody
seen
who
in a
worked
long
at
time.
Aperture Science. So,
With vacuum tubes such a big part of Portal 2, we designed the new elevators to work within them. We liked the idea that this made the player feel about as important to Aperture as the cargo moving through the tube, and it also gave us plenty of opportunities to show how the system could go wrong, such as when the tubes get blocked or when cargo rains down on the elevator. The videos began as attempts to visualize some of GLaDOS's dialogue, but they evolved into a means of relaying information about the larger world of Aperture. It seemed very likely to us that Aperture would boast to the test subjects about the devices they were testing, and show them the clever ideas they had put into the products. The videos also served as a reward for completing the test chambers, and a way to make the elevators visually different from one another to prevent repetition.
Aperture Fixtures was the first company that Cave Johnson had. And they sold shower curtains. According to what and I know that's true because it's hinted in the game. But then, as the story is getting more more revealed, there's thought that they started off with 3 projects. One was the Portal project, one was, well, I don't even remember. I watched this video, 10 things you didn't know about Portal 2, and some of them I knew, so I know they were right. Some of them looked like they could have been made up or incorrect. So I don't know how much of them I really believe. Alright, let's see. See if there's a commentary down here.
Activated.
This is another red den. No commentary. A lot of what he says is written here, and all this just doesn't really even get explained. It's still just mostly insane gibberish. So we can hear this music, but no director's commentary, nothing. Oh. Here they are. So maybe the turrets, after all this time, started gaining an AI sentience, and all they really want to do is play their music. And music is one way to judge whether art is one way to judge whether something is evolved to a certain level, whether or not it's just purely a utilitarian actions or they play a lot with music here in this game, a lot more. They probably overreacted to how much people loved the end song of
It says this next test was designed by one of Aperture's Nobel Prize winners. It doesn't say what the prize was for. Well, I know it wasn't for being immune to neurotoxin.
Yeah, they probably overreacted and put too much emphasis on thinking that they needed and just absolutely had to top the musical coolness of Portal, that end song in Portal 1. And did they really top it? Maybe, maybe not. I don't think so. If I'm just gonna be honest about it, I don't feel like the end song and all the music in the rest of the game topped the first one, and because I think it's just an impossible goal. I think the truth of the matter is it was so unexpected that it would just end with a song. No other game really ends with a song.
I bet you think I forgot about your surprise. I didn't. In fact, we're headed to your surprise right now. After all these years, I'm getting choked up just thinking about it.
So, if they had done just no songs at all, if they had done a dance, which they kind of do a dance at this, with the song, all of that might have been better. What they did do was fine. Ending it with a song is certainly appropriate. Again, it was a fine. The second song at the end of Portal 2 is fine. It's in keeping with the thought. But then all this extra effort of having more musical add-ons is a little bit of overkill. If they had done something completely different, the real thing that would have shocked people is if they had actually killed Chell at the end of the game. And they were thinking about it, but when you kill a character, you can't have sequels, and they obviously want to have sequels. Why not? Why not make this a trilogy? Why not make this an annual series? Portal, you could just every year, new DLC, another patch of puzzles. Keep them small, keep them interesting and new. You could do it every year for many, many years. You could take the Assassin's Creed model of just releasing game after game after game, and there will be people who buy it. I would buy it. Anyway, so we did 2 more chapters, and I think that's a good enough place to, let's see, if I'm starting for, wait, did I do 2 more chapters, or did I just do 1? This feels about the right time to break it up. So, break it up, maybe I only did 1 chapter, maybe I didn't, but it feels like the right time. So let's go ahead and do it. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, and watch every second of my videos, because all of that stuff helps me out a lot. This is my attempt at a career, so I'm not just doing this as a hobby. This is it. 8 hours a day, Monday through Friday, recording videos for your entertainment, and hopefully I'm entertaining. I try. If I'm not, let me know in the comments and give me some positive suggestions I might actually be able to use. If you want to follow me on Twitter, Google+, Battle.net, or Steam, all that information is down in the notes. Feel free to friend me on any of those things. Twitter and Google+ are really just for your convenience. I'd rather you talk to me through comments on YouTube, because that helps me with engagement, and that helps my videos get put in front of more eyeballs. Steam is, you can friend me on Steam to see my pathetic, at the moment, 1 game in my Steam library. All my other PC games, not Steam games. I'm trying to migrate games that I'm to my Steam library and build it up. So if you have extra copies and are willing to give them and donate them to me, great. If it's a game I haven't done a series on already, I will more than likely do at least 1 episode mentioning it. There's a whole thing about whether or not it gets copyright strikes. So if you, there's a whole thing there. I may get games in the Steam library that I can't make videos of because of copyright issues, I will then experience them at least for a little bit and then talk about them on my Hearthstone series. My Hearthstone series is where I talk about what's going on in my life and on my channel, so that's where I would respond to it, and I'll let you know in the message what went wrong there. But if I can make a series out of it and you give me a game, then I will make a series out of it. As long as it's not something I just hate playing. And maybe I'll just make myself suffer and play games I hate playing too. But yeah, that's mostly what my Steam is for. It's for if you want to donate games to me, if you want to be my friend and see when I'm playing things, if I'm playing a game that's on Steam. Battle.net is my Hearthstone connection. If you become my friend in Battle.net and I have nothing else to do, I'll send you friend requests, and if you accept quickly enough, you will show up on one of my recordings. And we'll play friendly games of Hearthstone. I've somehow managed to make my quick ending long again. That's a mistake. Anyways, we are done here. Thanks for watching. Have a good evening.